Welcome to the Dealership War Room. This is where high-performance leaders sharpen their edge, get real strategies at work, and cut through the noise of mediocrity. If you're tired of excuses and ready to own your results, commit to building a team that wins, you're in the right place. I'm Chris Hunsaker, and in just 6 minutes a day, we're going to break down the mindset, execution, and strategies that separate elite from average. So let's create some leadership fire. Have you ever had one of those days where you just didn't have it? You were tired, distracted, or flat out unmotivated, and you skipped the workout, right? You pushed off the project, or you just let the day slip by without making any project? One day like that, not a big deal. 2, 3, and suddenly you're in a downward spiral, and getting back on track feels almost impossible. That's why almost all top performers live by one simple rule: no 0 days. A 0 day is when you do absolutely nothing to move forward. No learning, no progress, no action. When you let one happen, it's way too easy for another to follow, and then another, and then another, and then another. The solution? Never let a day go by without doing something to push forward, even if it's small, even if it feels insignificant, because once you're doing something, you're keeping momentum alive. And today, we're going to break down exactly how no 0 days works and how one simple shift will help change your results, your confidence, and your entire trajectory. So let's start with why most people stay stuck. Most people think success happens in big leaps, like major deals or a huge breakthrough or an overnight win. But I got to tell you, it's a lie, and it's a pernicious lie. Success isn't about perfect days. It's about never letting a day go to waste. Sean Casey, first baseman for the Cincinnati Reds, all-star, just an amazing guy. I had a chance to sit down, and he and I were having lunch talking about high performance. And he said, Chris, let me tell you something that I just told the AAA team for the Toronto Blue Jays. He said, I had them all in the room and we were talking. And he said that I told every one of them, less than 5% of you guys are ever going to make it to the big leagues. But it's not because of talent. He said, listen, I were to put all of you on the field and I brought your family and friends to come watch, and I put the Toronto Blue Jays on the field without uniforms, your family and friends couldn't tell the difference between the professionals and you. But let me tell you what the difference is. The reason they're in the show and you're not is because they never take a pitch off. You see, you go 0 for 4, 0 for 5 on a game, and you kind of get spun out, and then you mentally take off a day or 2 or 3, or the next 2 or 3 games, or you get yourself in a slump, and then you can't get out. Those guys, the ones that are in the show, they never waste a pitch. They never take a pitch off. And I just stood dumbfounded listening to him. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. Success is not about perfect days. It's about never letting a day go by, or for Sean Casey, never wasting a pitch. Now, I want you to think about it. The last time you had a bad day, you didn't go to the gym, you didn't work on the project, and because you skipped one day, it's so much easier to skip the next day. Momentum works both ways. One good decision leads to another, but one missed opportunity leads to more inaction. The difference between people who stay stuck and people who succeed, the ones who refuse to have 0 days. What's the difference between people who stay stuck and people who succeed? The ones who succeed, the ones who win, refuse to have 0 days. So let's take a look at how to make progress when you don't feel like it, right? Because we all have those days when we don't feel like it. And here's where most people go wrong. They think progress has to be massive to count. That's the fastest way to burnout. When you set the bar so high that every day has to be a home run, you're setting yourself up for failure. Best leaders, the best performers, they know progress is progress no matter how small. Don't have time for the full workout? Do 1 push-up. Don't have time to write the whole report? Write 1 sentence. You didn't get your sales calls in? Send 1 follow-up text. No matter what you do, do something, because action creates momentum. Now let's add to this an identity shift that changes everything. Here's what happens when you stop allowing 0 days. Your identity shifts. Who you see yourself as, how you see yourself. Instead of thinking, I should be more consistent, or I need to work harder, or I need to get motivated, you start thinking and seeing yourself as, I don't miss. I take action every day. I'm the kind of person who always moves forward. I execute no matter what. And when that belief walks in, actions follow automatically. So it all comes down to this: a commitment on your part to no more 0 days. And here's your challenge. What's one thing can you do today to push forward? Even if it's small, even if it's 1 minute, no matter what, make it happen. And from today on, a commitment, no 0 days. And that's today's mission from the Dealership War Room. Now, what are you going to do about it? Because execution is power. It doesn't matter what you know. It only matters what you do. And do you do what you know? With that, as you were listening today, I'm sure that somebody came to mind that you were thinking of, man, they need to hear this. Please share this podcast with them. And let's start changing the world by sharing what works instead of destroying the world by complaining about what doesn't. Thanks again for hanging out with me in the Dealership War Room. I can't wait to see what you do with today, and I will see you back here tomorrow where we're going to create some leadership fire.